Good morning, everyone. I am Ryan Clifton Bowler, I want to get right down to it. Some of you probably already know that Charlamagne Tha God had an interview with Vice President Kamala Harris, and he asked her a relevant question, and she just went off the rail, aggravated and frustrated in her response to him. I actually watched a portion of the video on Anthony Brown Logan. He had the actual video, and I watched it on his channel. And I'm not surprised because that's how she is anyway. But I want to read a short portion of that actual interview from an article in the Daily Wire. And then after I finish reading that portion of the article, I'm going to give you my informed opinion. And the article starts off, Vice President Kamala Harris erupted during a friendly interview this week with Charlamagne Tha God when the media personality asked Harris who was the real president of the United States. When Charlamagne first tried to ask the question, an aide for the vice president jumped in and apparently tried to suggest that they could not hear him and therefore they needed to end the interview. Yeah, right. She can hear me, Charlamagne said, after a brief back and forth, later adding, they're acting like they can't hear me. I can hear you, Harris responded. I can hear you. So who's the real president of this country? He asked. Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President? Come on, Charlamagne, come on, she responded. It's Joe Biden. I can't tell sometimes, he responded. No. It's Joe Biden, Harris erupted. Let me say something right there. Really? And I watched it. I watched the portion. No. Where do these people come from? Where do these people come from? So I'm going to go back and finish. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president. And it's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden, and it's Joe Biden. And I'm vice president, and my name is Kamala Harris. Let me end it right there. And that's basically the end of it there. And you can find, you can get a link to it. I link to the Daily Wire in the description box, and you can listen to the video and perhaps read the transcript, the actual transcript of it. But it's no surprise to me that Kamala Harris would respond the way she responded to Charlamagne Tha God. Now, let me say this right up front. I don't know much about Charlamagne Tha God. I mean, I've never watched any of his podcasts or his shows or whatever. I think he's a host or one of the hosts of the Breakfast Club. If I'm correct, correct me in the comment box if you still need to. But I don't know much about him, so I'm not going to speak about him or anything. What I do know is that he's a Democrat. He's liberal. That much I know. That's what I've heard, from different sources. So, I did watch a interview that he had with President Joe Biden before he became president. And the questions that he was asking alluded to the fact that he was clearly a Democrat, because he asked Joe Biden, what were you, and I'm paraphrasing his words, what are you going to do for the black community? Which I always kind of was okay, what are these presidents supposed to do for the black community? Why don't the black community just go ahead and do what they need to do, either on an individual basis, on a collective basis, and stop trying to look to the government to help them with everything? But that's a whole nother story, and I digress. Point is, he asked the then campaigning Joe Biden, what was he going to do for the black community? And Joe Biden's response was not in my opinion, and I watched this, it was not how can I put it? A mistake. Joe Biden didn't make a mistake, just like Kamala Harris didn't make a mistake in her response. Joe Biden's response was, hey man, if you got one, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, and that was the response. That was not a mistake. He meant what he said. He meant what he said. It was not a mistake. It didn't slip out. And yet you still have people, and I'm pretty sure that video, however viral it went, a lot of people that voted for Joe Biden simply because they wanted to get Trump out of office just bypass what he said. But that's a whole nother story. Here's my point on all of this. With Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. From the statistical data that I've read so far, their numbers of approval is not going up. It's either going down or staying static. And I believe what is happening with Charlamagne Tha God and a lot of other people that voted for Joe Biden, okay, is they're starting to see the light. Come to the light, Carol Ann, come to the light. They're starting to see the light because clearly he would not have asked that question if Joe Biden in these sessions that he's given and in these speeches that he's given wouldn't keep bumbling and saying words that he shouldn't be saying. I can't possibly, it's hard for me to sit and stomach listening to the man. So, I mean, I can't do it. I'll listen to bits and pieces of it, but I can't endure going through the whole thing. It just makes my stomach tie up and now I want to barf. But he's constantly bumbling and flipping and he's reading from things that are clearly planned for him. And it seems to me that Charlamagne Tha God and others are starting to see through that. At least do it in a way, Mr. President or Vice President, whatever, in a way that is professional. You messing up, and you exposing your own inabilities, your own ignorance, for lack of a better word. That's what you seem to be exposing to millions of Americans that voted for you. So this is what's going on here. People are, and the way I see it, people are starting to see now. They're starting to see, people like Charlamagne Tha God are starting to see that Joe Biden is fake, Kamala Harris is fake. And this whole idea, I said this before in another video months ago, that Vice President Kamala Harris in a debate for the Democratic Party debate for presidency, when she was running to be campaigning to be president, told Joe Biden and accused Joe Biden of being racist. Now, sometimes I can't help but wonder if this stuff is scripted, but that's a whole nother story, and that sounds conspiratorial, but I'm not going to even get into that. Because the stuff these people say and then they get into office and do something, it's just crazy. But she accused him of being a racist. She said all these negative things. She wasn't getting any campaign donations, clearly. People weren't really supportive of her for whatever the reasons are. Some say that they just don't like her or whatever. I don't know all the details. I just deal with the factual data. And the fact is, during that campaign, she accused Biden of being racist. She wasn't getting much donations. People weren't supportive of her, and she eventually dropped out. And what happened? So everybody knew that. Everybody practically, I'm going to assume that everybody who were on the Democratic side kind of knew that or suspected that. And what happened? Joe Biden picks her to be the vice president. Why would you pick someone who accused you of being a racist to be the vice president? Why would you do that? See, they do stuff that don't make sense. And I believe a lot of times these politicians do this on purpose because they're taking the American people to be a bunch of idiots. And unfortunately, a lot of American people, because they don't mix the news up, they don't watch alternative news sources, viable, strong, informative alternative news sources, because they don't watch these news sources, they're being manipulated and twisted about the facts. So they ignore what could obviously help them. They ignore all of that. As a result, they're receiving just one stream of news, one stream of information coming at them. And they basically have been brainwashed and are in a trance state to the point where they're like, I don't care. I don't care if Joe Biden elected her to be the vice president, picked her to be the vice president. I don't care. As long as we get Trump out. Now he's out and look what's going on. Not even a year has passed by and we have all these negative things from the both of them. I don't know about Vice President Kamala Harris. Obviously it seems to me she's not making much decisions. The border situation, I guess she was supposed to have something to do with that. She fumbled around with that. So, it's like, what's going on here? And what I believe that is going on is that the American people are starting to see through all of this. They're starting to see the light. They're coming to the light of salvation, the light of information, the light of illumination. They're starting to see, and they're starting to say things that are conclusive that, hey, something ain't right with the Democratic Party that's in office right now. Something just ain't right. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. It's crazy how she responded to him. And and I watched that video, and it just really twisted my stomach, man. It twisted my stomach. I hate to hear her talk. I'm giving you my personal, not nothing factual here on this part. I'm giving you my personal. I hate to hear her talk because she it sounds like a laughing hyena. And it's clearly that's a nervous laugh because you don't know what you're talking about. And so you have to cover up with this nervous hyena laugh. And it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. They are embarrassing our country. They're embarrassing our country before the world. They're embarrassing our country before the world. And people like Charlamagne Tha God and others who are on the left are starting to see this now. And now, so as a result, she gets upset and starts making all, no. You know Joe Biden is the president. No. And I'm Vice President Kamala Harris. What? Calm down. Just relax. Just relax. Just answer the question and be professional. That's all you need to do. You're the vice president. Be professional. Okay? Be professional. But when you are satanic and demonic, it's hard to be professional. Or when you're being manipulated and controlled by your handlers and they're writing down the script for you, and deep in your heart, a lot of that stuff, wait a minute, it's just when you have all that stuff written for you, eventually it's going to come out. It's going to come out because the accusations from Charlamagne Tha God and things that he's saying is exposing her for who she is. It's exposing the Biden administration, but it's exposing her for who she is. It's a question, as the interview was stating, underlining, it's a question that he asked that really got to the core. Who's the president? You can't, it's hard for them to answer something like that. It's hard for them to answer that because really they either have an option of saying, okay, it's Joe Biden, but if you say it's Joe Biden, you're not explaining nothing right there. Joe Biden is just a body. You're not explaining nothing. Verify that. You said it's Joe Biden, okay, verify it. Prove it, validate it that he actually is. That he's making decisions for the country that's autonomous. That somebody's not writing the script for him, and he's not, as one person said, a body, an empty suit. Basically, what he is, which is what she is. So hey, man, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on, and I watched that, and it was embarrassing, and it shows that the Democratic Party is in trouble. January is coming up. The midterms are coming up. They are in trouble. They're only digging their own ditch. They're digging their own ditch for themselves. And I hope and pray that more Americans, let's put it to you like this. I hope and pray that more Americans who voted Democrat have sense enough to see the buffoonery of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, see the damage that they're doing, and at least in the midterms in January, vote for people that are, if you're not going to vote for the Republicans, at least vote for moderate Democrats that say, okay, let's try to work something out here where we can be fair, okay? Don't just vote for a political party simply because that's what you've been voting for all year. If you see that the political party that you're in is causing some major, major problems that's affecting millions of Americans, including yourself, it makes no sense to keep voting for the same party over and over and over again simply because that's what you've been doing. And I'm just going to be real with you. It's time for people, it's time for people to wake up, man. It's time to wake up. Whether you're on the left or right, it's time to wake up. But I just wanted to say that, give that word. What do you guys think about this Kamala Harris's outburst, Do you think this is professional, non-professional? What do you think her reasons for an outburst and hooping and hollering and acting crazy like she did? What do you think her reasons might have been for that? Do you think she's just a suit you know, just a body in a suit, you know, just being controlled by her handlers, or what? What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again.